Well, in talking with you, I always enjoyed looking and talking about the visuals of the film because
Right.
I'm thinking of filmmakers like Mitchell Leisen and Herb Ross and Vincent Minnelli, all who had a great eye and experience with things like costume design, set decor, stuff like that. Do you see yourself maybe in a kind of line of directors like that?
Well, that's a heady
It's a
group.
good company there.
Yeah, very good company. No, I've never thought of that. I try to, especially in these movies. Well, I respond very much to visuals in film, and I feel nothing's more important than the story and the casting. But I always try to give the audience a visual statement
Hmm.
with the film because I think they should get that with their ticket and popcorn.
And are you also commenting on other movies like Blonde Venus, when she takes off the
Oh, I
gorilla
just
head,
stole that, sure.
Clockwork Orange, things like that? It's
Sure,
fun, isn't it?
sure. It's fun. I mean, I get to pay a little homage to the movies that I love so much. And but most of all, what I'm trying to make is a living comic book. And the credit for the style of my Batman films really has to go to the geniuses over the last 60 years who've worked so hard at DC Comics. There's a whole long list of brilliant artists, painters, story writers, and I just look at hundreds of comics before I start a Batman movie. And what I try to do is really, really pay homage to them and not do something that they'll be embarrassed by, because they deserve the real credit.
Yeah.
But of course, one of the fun parts about Batman is there's such big pop visual operas that I can stick in some things I really love in there.
And I just see you reveling in these contrasts of color keying.
Yes.
The blues against the greens, Freeze against Ivy,
Right.
for example.
Well, but what you get with Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, you get this winter wonderland, you know,
Yes.
and then with Poison Ivy, you have this hothouse seductress in her, you know, magenta harem. So you've got hot and cold, you know.
Exactly.
You have got these two great extremes, and then we can put the world of Batman, you know, right in the middle of all of that. And so it's perfect. It's perfect storytelling, and it's perfect, you know, visual storytelling. But a lot of the credit belongs to Barbling, the production designer, Stephen Goldblatt, our great cinematographer, John Dykstra, our special effects, and then the great costume geniuses, you know, Ingrid Farron and Robert Tudories, and their huge departments. You know, many great artists work on this.
It's important to have an ensemble that you can trust.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Batman Forever, you know, once you've climbed Mount Everest and you got down successfully, there are people you definitely want to tie to your rope again to help you get up there.
I mean, really, aren't there times when you're awake at night going, how am I going to do this again, or top this again, or ratchet this thing up one more level?
Yes,
Is it scary?
sure, of course, but filmmaking is scary for me because, but it's just as scary when I'm doing A Time to Kill because, you know, you can fail. You can fail the audience. That's where your failure really is. And yeah, I want to give the audience the best Batman movie I possibly can. And that's a difficult task because not only do we have to top ourselves, but the audience is from 3 to 300. So it's finding a level of Batman that can work for us
The
as
universality
creative
of it.
people, but for the audience, and that's really the test. But sure, I mean, I worry all the time when I'm making a movie. That's my job. And when my friends say that I worry too much, I say, well, if the director isn't worried about the movie, then we're in a lot of trouble because that's my job. That would be like not worrying about your children while they're growing up.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
wondering how quickly we can encapsulate how much planning went into that opening sequence, the confrontation with Freeze going
Right.
into orbit, back to Earth again.
We had, well, the planning of that was easy.
We've only got about 20
right.
seconds.
Akiva Goldsman, they can't stop while I'm talking. Akiva Goldsman, the writer, and my trusted assistant, Eli Richborg, and I sat in my house one day and made that up in about 10 minutes. The thinking it up was nothing.
Yes.
Right, now go do it. it's we were blessed with this wonderful cast, but we were also blessed with time on this because Bob Daly and Terry Semel, my great bosses at Warner's, called me about a week before I started shooting A Time to Kill in Mississippi and asked me if I would do another Batman movie. So that was August of '95. So we didn't start shooting until September of '96. We had over a year to prepare this movie, which is why we finished filming 2 weeks ahead of time.
It's too bad that goes by so fast.
Preparation.
Wow. The scene itself.
I know.
Because it is really a virtuoso piece of filmmaking.
Well, thanks. And, well, I'd like to say I did it all by myself. No, hardly. You know, great stunt people, great visual effects from John Dykstra. It's a team. It's a family working together. And that particular sequence, up until George, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, when George pulls Robin out of that soup, that entire section is the work of many, many people, and it's shot in pieces over the long haul of the film, because a little bit is done over there, and a little bit is done second unit, and a little bit is done on computers, and a little bit is done over here, and the actors, a lot of the stunts in this movie, a lot of the pieces that you see are George and Chris and Arnold, because it's not easy. And a lot of the fight between Uma and Alicia at the end, you can see them doing it. You can actually, and it's pretty hard stuff to do in normal clothes, and these costumes weigh 50, 60 pounds. So.
A fifth film?
Well, do you think the audience will want one?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, if they
do
want
you want
one?
one?
Oh, sure. I could make, I mean, I love making them. If the audience wants another one, we'll have one for them.
We are way over long. I'm so sorry, but it's
That's
been so
okay.
good to talk to you,
Thanks.
as always.